Hey, yous guys, welcome to Be Aight podcast, presented by AML Media. Love you, Mom. I'm Gene Labordi. My co-host Stephen Labordi, working all the hard work, doing all the good stuff, is Rachel Labordi. This is Be Aight podcast. Thanks for joining us. Let's go have some fun.
All right.
We're finally back. Welcome to Be Aight. I will do the apologies for a week of us not doing any podcasting. That is all my stomach's fault. I have been on the mend for the last 4 days, fighting nausea, just general fatigue, and this is all tied in with whatever the hell is going on, whether it be my gallbladder, a stomach ulcer. We don't know yet. Until I get the tubes down my throat and butt, we're not going to be 100% sure what it is.
We're going to find out, though.
Which at this point, I wish it happened sooner. Like, when I first got the appointment made and it was farther down the line.
You were like, sweet.
Yeah, but at this point, like, I still have to get the thing where they fill me up with a dye to, and then they'll, like, see what goes through my gallbladder, kind of. Get that tested, and then...
Are they still doing... They're doing the colonoscopy and the endoscopy at the same time?
They should be, which I want to follow up with that.
They called me to tell me it was changed.
That it's 2 in 1?
Yeah, that they updated it and added an endoscopy.
That's what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want, because the prep is the same for it.
Yeah.
So it's basically going to be like 48 hours of... I don't know if
24 hours of no solid food.
Yeah, don't...
12 hours of prep.
Don't they, for the colonoscopy, don't you have to take some kind of, like, basically like a diuretic, too?
That's what I think they're saying, to prep
You drink, like, say, a gallon of this prep that's a diuretic that clears your whole system out.
I was watching an episode of the Dr. Drew podcast. Sometimes he has interesting people
I just finished listening to Dr. Drew.
He's
like
interesting.
10 minutes ago.
Him.
Can we... if you watch it more than once, like you've seen...
I've seen him on a lot of different podcasts.
Oh,
I didn't watch
have
or
you
listen
seen
to
his show, though?
his show.
Oh, okay.
Which show, though? Because he's got a couple.
It's just his main show.
Okay.
I only watch... But...
Like a podcast or his show? Because he had, like, TV
After
shows.
Dark or...
No, it's like his podcast.
Okay.
The ads, the way they do their ads, are so obnoxious and like so open buttholey. But that's beside the point. What I was gonna say is he was prepping for a colonoscopy, and like at the end of the last episode I was watching, he like had to cut it short. He's like, I thought I would be able to get through the pod before I had to.
I definitely we will be when my foot is messed up, or like if someone's like really sick or something, we have our second living room, which is our guest room that just has a single couch in there, and Rachel just sits on the bed and we have a TV. So during that time, that we will definitely be a bed. We call it, you want to be bedroom upstairs people.
Upstairs people.
Because that's where our only bathroom is.
But yeah, basically, it alluded to the fact that like he had to duke immediately.
Well, and I'm pretty sure it's like very liquidy. Like it's meant.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, like you're getting everything out so the camera doesn't have to fight against poo.
Yeah. So he suggested everybody over the age of 35 make sure they're getting their colonoscopies, which I feel like it used to be like 50. But the further along we go, the more it seems like.
Well, and the fact that removing a polyp is 100% prevention for colon cancer.
Yeah. There's no reason not to do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case for me. I think I have some polyps.
I bet you, two of every 5 men and maybe women have polyps after a certain age. But it's weird the way people talk about hemorrhoids.
I do apologize, people. I'm going to be spitting because if I swallow it, I get nauseous and I'll have to throw up. So I apologize to the people on camera. I'll try and keep it off.
That's all right. We're used to it. Oh, yeah. Polyps. Most men have polyps. Oh, no, I was going to say, sorry. Hemorrhoids. The way people talk about hemorrhoids, like, it seems like most men get hemorrhoids, and women get them a lot. Like, and at my age, I'm like, I've never had a hemorrhoid. So it's like I want
Do
to know.
you like play on your phone on the toilet or like
No,
read on the toilet?
No. I get on and off real
That's
quick.
probably.
Well, they say it can be called one, obviously dietary. They say and maybe some of these are probably wise tales, but sitting on cold stuff, like if you like
Yeah.
sit on like cold bleachers or sit it,
Yeah.
they say can do it. I seen this thing.
I think it's just forcing poos.
That's
Well,
definitely
they say you're not supposed to sit on the toilet for more than like 4 minutes at a time, just
Really?
because being in that position for like for too long puts too much
Anal stretching.
stress. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're if an office worker who sits 8 hours a day versus manual labor. I bet just like too much sitting can do it. As humans, we're not supposed to sit as much as we do.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
they say sitting is the new smoking. I watched these two things because I've been looking up into my health a little bit. There's this lady who I think I've talked about it before in here, the cayenne pepper lady, who she saved someone from a heart attack literally with cayenne pepper, and she says she preaches every day. If you can put a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in water and drink it, like it does special things for your vascular system. But she also this remedy for hemorrhoids, and it was pure cotton, I believe, and you soak it in vinegar and something else, and then put it in the freezer for 4 days. And the way the cotton breaks down and soaks it up, then what you're supposed to do is take like a finger, whatever, and put it on your beehole, and like apparently like it can get rid of hemorrhoids in a day completely.
Really?
I forget the mixture
vinegar
of it.
makes sense to like it'll break something down, but
might be
freezing
even like
it-
apple cider vinegar.
I think because
with
it-
extra stuffs.
I think for the freezing it,
It's
one,
soothing?
it did a process to the cotton. It made the fibers more malleable, I think. But also, too, like, if the hemorrhoid's going, it burns, so it probably feels soothing. Because
Yeah,
the way
but
she...
vinegar, I feel like would make it itch and like.
I don't know.
See, I don't know. I
Because
feel,
vinegar, I can see it helping it clean.
well,
I
definitely.
would think it would burn though.
Yeah, like it's acidic. You know what I mean?
There might have been something else in there. I'm forgetting. It was a couple. I wasn't going to try it because hemorrhoids are annoying, but they're not that bad. If you just the wipes, which speaking of which, I'm put on the grocery list. We got those preparation wipes are awesome. I think everyone should use them. Don't flush them, but even if you don't,
like once a week at least.
well, it's just people use baby wipes and they're like there's the dude wipes. It's that plus a soothing type of like lotion, so like your butthole feels good
Yeah,
afterwards,
it's like a
but
super,
not greasy.
It's like it isn't. I thought it was like a super lube.
No,
basically.
The wipes, not
The wipes.
the cream.
Okay.
So
yeah, I
that's-
think we had preparation H at the house one time, and I like put some on my finger to see what it was, and it was like
It's
dude, you feel.
thick.
You feel when you're walking. For me, anyway, when I was walking, I was like, "Did I poo my pants?"
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. But the wipes work good. And then the other thing, going through this, I was like, I felt bloated up top, and it was very interesting.
You mean like literally just the top of your abdomen?
My whole kind of.
I felt that before. It's so weird.
And it I don't know if it's because I've been straining, but it's weird. It feels like I'm permanently like tightening my muscle, but I was kind of getting a pain across and going into the back a little bit. And like when I was getting nauseous, I get like burpy kind of. It's like I want to get air out or just get things moving. I don't know. And while I'm going through this, a thing popped up, and we've always talked about this. I call it the Indian sit, where you know how like foreign people
You squat,
where they can squat where their ass like sits on their heels.
spread wide open. Yeah.
That is how you're supposed to do that. Like, and this guy was saying when you sit like a normal person, our culture sits in chairs, and it forces stuff the wrong way where you breathe up here, or no, you breathe up like the wrong way. I forget.
Yeah,
what
you breathe out of the top because that's a lot of yoga practice. You do belly breaths to like re-practice how to breathe out of the bottom of your belly.
But the way he was describing it, I was like, I have that exact thing.
Your organs like
Because
squished down.
It squishes your organs and it pushes everything up, and then also it starts to create back problems because then you start
Yeah, yeah.
always having a permanent arch.
You don't think it was just because like you were dry heaving at one point?
No, I'm just
Like
saying
that-
in general, the way like if my like when my sciatic hurts, I feel like it's because I'm leaning back too much and stuff. And he was like, if you can just do this for like a couple minutes a day, a couple times a day, do that squat. Is like it can like in a couple months you can completely revert the muscles and stuff. And I was like, well, that's cool and all, but I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't
I
sit
actually
like that.
just watched a video like maybe a month ago that said do that anytime you brush your teeth. Like to brush
Squat?
your teeth in that squat. And I've been doing it when I remember because it
Now,
helps
I wish you could tell me.
mobility.
If I walked in and you just doing that, I'd be like,
She's
well,
on some
like,
freaky
have
shit.
you seen the thing that's been popular right now that if you're sitting on the ground Indian style,
crisscross applesauce.
sorry. If you can get up without using your hands, it means you can live like way longer than if you can't get up from that position
What?
without using
I've
your
seen
hands.
also. Well, that's the plyometric of the body. That's like a whole new thing I see. Like people aren't
Mobility
necessarily working.
coaches.
Yeah, people aren't working out for muscles. Like they're working out to be able to like do stuff like that.
I
I
think
think it's just more so mobility as you get older because you lose a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of mobility.
these
so
sound
just
like
be able
things
to keep doing normal people
Americans
things.
can't do. The average American man.
The
anyway.
average American can squat with their butt on the floor.
Well, for how long? I can't sit like that for more than a couple minutes.
Well, no, I don't think they're asking you to do.
Well, and
Long.
I guess and he was saying just squatting, and I was like, I mean, it probably if you keep working at it, I guess you'll get
You're
to
talking
it.
about the squat where your butt's almost on the ground and you're on your.
That's what he.
You're basically
performed.
sitting on your heels.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I can only do that for like
I just
2 minutes.
even in the best shape of my life, I wasn't able to do that because my calves get in the way. You know what I mean? Like
you do have nice calves.
I got those still going for me.
No, but I'm like, that's a flexibility. I've said that before. Like, if you haven't been in a culture that squats, like, you can't just suddenly start doing it as an
The
adult.
kid I played lacrosse with, Dom Del Tondo, he could do it. That's how he would get. Like he wouldn't sit on the bench, like getting ready. He would just do that, and I used to be like, dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, I've done this as a little kid. He's like, this is the most comfortable way.
I think it's easier for shorter people too.
I don't know, because a lot of like Indians are pretty tall, and I see them
Oh,
do it a lot.
yeah.
But once again, they have skinny legs. But
And they poop like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that
On the
goes
train
that goes
tracks.
that the whole like the same thing I was talking with the guy and the shape of your body, and then also the squatty potty. He kind of was tying into that. Like the chairs have ruined us.
Yeah. Yeah, we sit down and do everything. I mean, only poor people don't sit most of the time. But yeah, all these things we're talking about in my mental image is just Indian person can do all these things.
Well, and a lot of it like that. If you can crisscross applesauce to standing without hands, you'll live to 70, past 70 or whatever. I've seen a lot of things like if you can do over 50 push-ups in a day, it's proven you'll live over 70. And it's all just generally saying if you can move around and lift your own body weight, you'll probably you're not going to get heart disease at 50.
Yeah, I don't even know how could they do a study about how, like the timeline of studying people that do 50 push-ups a day.
Yeah,
I can't even formulate how you would do that study.
And it's one of those things, it's like no one's going to negate it. Obviously, people who exercise and do stuff are going to live longer.
It's these things to me, you're basically describing like
Just be healthier and you're going to live longer.
Yeah, it's just common sense.
Mhm.
Like if you,
and you frame it a certain way.
it's just a way to put another article out there and like
Yeah,
Good
if you can
Living
do
magazine or something.
75 body squats, you have an 80% chance of living past 80. It's like,
Yeah.
oh well, yeah, if you can just move pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't eat, this amount of potatoes, it's proven to live this long.
It is scary, like how every month there's a new food or chemical that we've all been exposed to our whole lives that has proved to cause this, that, or the other thing.
I just learned Ari Shadiq, I think. I forget his name, comedian. Him and his whole family, nobody eats and like his whole community don't eat seedless watermelons or any type of seedless fruit.
Was that GMO stuff?
Well, no, it's the way they take the seeds out is a chemical that can make you infertile.
Really?
I have seen stuff about that too. Like, I never thought about it before, but a seedless watermelon is engineered to be
well, that's
seedless.
why I said GMOs.
Yeah.
Like, but what do you mean? They use a chemical like
Whatever they're doing to it, and Archduke's a black dude, so sometimes they get something in their head.
He was talking about watermelon.
But it does make sense that a seed is what.
It's natural. That's all. It's all.
Well, no, but the seed is the testicle. It's the way that they produce more
seed
of
is
them.
the seed. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it can take the seed out of that, enough of it in the human body,
Okay,
I'm
I
sure
see what you're
isn't.
saying.
Okay, so seedless watermelons are grown from seeds that are produced by crossing watermelon lines to produce plants that have an odd number of chromosomes. So the odd number of chromosomes
So
make
the seedless watermelons are the downs of watermelons?
I mean, I guess, but I guess putting that
Essentially.
into your body a bunch will confuse it.
Well, here's the thing. Like in Europe, aren't all GMO products banned?
Certain parts where they're trying to. Better than we are, for sure.
Oh, and actually, this is probably more so it. Seedless watermelons are most of the time treated with colchicine,
So right,
which causes cancer, infertility, and more.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I don't like seeds in my fruit.
Yeah.
I forgot how hard it is to eat a seeded watermelon.
You got to be outside.
You gotta be, yeah. So
And you have to, like, be feeling around in your mouth. Like, I feel like I'll accidentally swallow too many.
Well, even if you do, it's...
Or like I love a delicious grape, but the best grapes have the big ass seeds in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for those big-ass ones we got that one time. We've never
and
gotten
those
again.
were organic.
Yeah, dude. We look for them every time we go. They weren't globe grapes. Globe grapes are the really big ones that are good, but they have like 2 seeds in them.
But they have a serious crunch.
Yeah,
to them.
you have to take those
Yeah.
out. You got to bite it and then...
Speaking of crunch, I made an omelet the other day.
Okay.
Got a little shell in there.
Oh.
It couldn't have been more than
The tiniest bit of shell can
it
ruin
grossed
egg,
me
dude.
out so bad, dude. I couldn't.
Did you finish it?
Nope. Nah.
Every once in a while on an Egg McMuffin. But the Egg McMuffin's so good, I can go, I don't think that was a shell. I think
Dude,
it
Egg
was...
McMuffins are banging.
They really are. And everyone's... Because they use real egg. And so sometimes a shell, I'm sure, gets in there, but it's so good that I push.
Remember when forever they had you get 2 for $4?
We can't talk about food.
Okay.
Gotta save it.
Yeah.
It's hard. It always comes back to food.
Yeah.
Watch Fat Fest for food talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some good ideas for Fat Fest.
Last night I was up late because like my hours just been whacked out. And I was watching Braveheart. Never watched it before. And
It's a long movie.
yeah, because halfway through, like they defeat the big army, like the only thing I've ever known about it is when he paints his face half blue, and then does the speech and like defeats the big army by being smart. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I like paused it and I was like, I'm halfway through the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was good for 95. That's 1995. It was a good movie, but it won. I mean, I feel like 95 was when a lot of movies were coming out, and it won like a bunch like Oscars and shit.
I think it's a little overrated. If I kind of feel like that's what you're saying.
I am, yeah, but it's hard because I don't know what to put it up against. Like
The Patriot is way better than
Patriot's
Braveheart.
fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I had a hankering last. I pulled you, and I went down. I got some ice cubes to chew on. I got hot all of a sudden. Been going through hot flashes.
Like right now, or when you were eating ice cubes?
When I was eating, up last night.
Okay.
And I was like craving something, and I was like, ooh, and I didn't have any of my icy pops, so I was like, I'm just gonna fucking eat some ice cubes.
You should just get a big box of those things, man.
What, ice cubes?
Big box of ice cubes. No, ice
No, I
pops.
do. I mean, I had those for a couple of months. I try not to house them too because they're sugary as fuck.
Yeah, they're impossible not to house.
Yeah, so that's why because if I grab 3, I'll hurry up and eat 3 because I want them to still be ice in there.
Yeah.
So I only grab 1 at a time.
Just food talk, though. But I used to drink those motherfuckers. I
Yeah.
used to like when it was just cold fruit juice, fruit water. So I was watching one of the podcasts I was watching. I know it was Megyn Kelly. That's my girl. But they were talking about Kevin Costner and his wife are getting a divorce. They got 3 kids, and she's fighting the prenup that she signed when they got married. And basically, a judge mediated and said, first and foremost, the way I look at it, prenup is a prenup. Were you coerced? But anywho, the judge awarded her $132,000 a month, and she's fighting it. It's not enough.
Oh my god.
$132,000 a month.
I'm used to a certain lifestyle. That shit is ridiculous.
That, yeah. Rachel, what do you think about the prenup?
I don't really get it. I don't really know. Actually, I couldn't tell you what.
It's basically like if you marry somebody, it's usually the man who suggests a prenup. But
Like if they have their own money, they get a prenup so that they can take it back.
Yeah, basically it's a contract saying you're not going to get half my shit. You know, like
if somebody's really wealthy and they get married,
Mm-hmm. I would do that if I was super wealthy and I got a husband. I would do that so he didn't
Right.
fuck me over.
right? But
and a lot I don't know. I mean, you know, people out there are going to be like, you're wrong, but I'm pretty sure like it's not completely screwing her $132,000 a month.
I would take that.
no shit. Obviously,
That's what we all make in a year in here together.
I guess even if you they have 3 kids together, so I don't know what her argument is.
And how old are the kids?
We're young enough.
That's
Well, and if they're young
1.5.
enough,
That's almost $1.6 million a year.
if they're young enough, then
Yeah, it's a lot.
child support would be a separate thing as well.
It's just crazy, man. I think she was asking for, I think it was over $300,000 a month, and I didn't realize
Well,
Kevin,
they're all
I didn't know he had.
they're
it
all
like
about your
that.
age.
I didn't know he had it like that. That's a lot of money, dude.
He's done a lot of stuff, man.
So all the kids are,
Your age, basically.
and she can't live on 132,000. So yeah,
That's that shit where it's obviously, and everybody in there knows. The judge knows, both lawyers know. It's just like fuck you. I want more. Like, obviously, it's enough. It's just I want to fuck you as hard as I can.
right now that the relationship has gone south, obviously, because there's a divorce happening. I just can't. How is there any footing for her to ask? He
Also-
wanted to give her the original thing was he wanted to give her $52,000 a month, which if you said I had that much money a month,
And dude, she's still good looking enough where she's got some days ahead of her.
it's just that blew my mind.
Oh damn, he's had 2 wives
Sofia Vergara's getting divorced.
from that wolf dude.
Joe Manganiello.
I don't know who that is.
Sexy
The
Mexican lady.
the Mexican lady from Modern Family.
Oh yeah,
Which
yeah.
she might not be Mexican. I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know.
yeah,
She's
Latin.
She's Latin.
Latin. Yeah.
Latinx. I saw pictures of her once that were
She has to get dolled up.
paparazzi pictures. I was like, God damn.
Yeah,
She was like a 4. in
and
those
she
pictures.
obviously has a something keeping her in that shape under that. There's a reason she always wears the same shaped dress.
Yeah, it wasn't her body. Her face was busted without all that makeup. I was shocked, man. I mean, of course, whatever these pictures were leaked, they were
But
the worst.
what's that
pictures
guy's
ever.
name? What's the
Joe. It's MAN. See if it pops up.
Mansion?
Manganiello.
Not that guy.
He's he might, that guy's running for president, possibly.
MANG.
Manganiello. There it is.
I mean, this is a handsome guy. This dude's gonna pull in top-notch tail immediately.
He's from Pittsburgh.
You know who else is from Pittsburgh? I mentioned on the pod the one day about that UAP leaker from the intelligence community who testified.
Unidentified plane.
Yeah, unidentified aerial phenomenon or something like that. It's UFO.
Yeah.
Okay, but he was the guy who testified that people inside the security state have told him that the U.S. government has had or confiscated numerous UFOs and alien bodies, and this was there's a whistleblower clause that is fairly new that you can basically petition Congress, and they'll look over what you're going to whistleblow about and approve it or not. Anywho, this guy David Grush, it's a really interesting story, but this guy is also from Pittsburgh. So that was the first time since I lived here that I was like, oh, cool hometown guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck the government. Go. Yeah, I just seen a video. I hate. There's UFOs and shit down here, but why is there no good footage yet?
Someone get a good camera.
Like the one where it's an alien and he's sitting in a forklift on top of a truck, and it's they're all speaking Spanish and they're taking turns peeking their head around the thing, and I'm like,
the alien sitting on a forklift?
That's what it looks like.
I've seen one on a beach. What do you guys think about mermaids?
Oh, dude, this is funny.
I know.
The video you're talking, the guy who sees two of them and they're singing.
Yeah.
I didn't see that video.
It's newer. It's a dude on a fishing boat, and he's like, "Yo, what is this?" And you see it's at night. It's a weird creature, real long and slender, but it starts. You hear in the background "Hiya," and then right at the end it goes, "Come to me."
So are you buying it? But that is ancient mariner tales about sirens.
Yeah.
So they're fish women that sing and
that specific video, maybe not, but in general, maybe yeah.
There was a 2-week period where me and my dad believed in
you, and I remember mom telling me, and I was like, no way. It was in college or right after. I remember mom telling me did you see? And I was like, what? She's like, I believe all three of you sat down and watched it together, on the History Channel, a 3-part series about mermaids. And she was like, they finally found one. And I was like, you can't be kidding. She's like, Steven believes it. And I was like, I got to lay eyes on this. And then a day later, I guess at the end of the episode, or immediately someone debunked it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember the video pretty well. And it was this mermaid basically coming up out of the water. I think it was somebody was on shore, but looking back on it now, it was totally something you would see in a horror film.
Well, I've seen the ones that are washed up on beach. That's it's been deteriorated a little bit, and their fucking fingers this long and pointing creepy.
There are tales throughout ancient history of all kinds of
but don't
fish people.
Don't they think that a lot of it was pirates fucking manatees?
I don't know where you got that. I got that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, they say the manatee vagina is very similar to a woman.
Manatee?
Manatee's vagina is very similar to a human.
Yeah.
But, dude, think how dehydrated they are. Fucking, they're mirage. You're seeing things. And I don't know.
Just imagine getting into the water to track down a manatee.
You don't have to, dude. They're curious animals. They don't run from stuff, dude. They're slow.
I don't know. It's a stretch.
I'm
how did you even? How much time can you be spending around manatees where you're like, guys, look at this vagina on this fucking thing?
It's very similar.
Dude, think about that back in those days. You probably did spend a lot of time. These are ships that are they're not fast. And down, the Caribbean and shit.
Bestiality is a real human phenomenon or whatever. But if you want to bang animals, there's way easier animals to bang than a fucking manatee.
Yeah, drowned in the meantime.
Yeah,
I mean, besides like domesticated animals that you don't have access to because you're on a ship.
No, they used to have livestock on the ship.
Yeah, but that's for eating, not for fucking.
You can fuck.
You could eat them and fuck them.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows you don't fuck where you eat.
Yeah.
Have you seen the sea lion or seal that is bullying all the surfers and stealing their surfboards?
I've seen it.
He's fighting back, huh?
Yeah. He's
Yeah. Good
like-
for the seal. I don't blame him.
Although that's what they say. A lot of like when surfers get attacked by sharks, it's directly from beneath, because like when they're paddling the boat, it kind of looks like a seal
You mean
to
when
a
they're
shark.
like paddling?
Yeah, like
Yeah, there's a million pictures from the bottom up of a surfer. Yeah, it looks like a wounded fish.
and sharks do those. They do like that test bite thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll come up. That's why a lot of times, like, well, I don't, I'm not a surfer, know a lot, but Shark Week anyway. A lot of surfers have gotten bitten there, and they go back out. They're like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
like,
to me.
yeah, I had to get crazy stitches. I was out for a little bit, but he bit me, realized didn't want me, and left.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's a girl. There's like she was like a pretty girl, and she lost, I want to say
Yeah.
both arms,
Oh yeah, I remember.
or
her.
she lost both legs or something. And
I
she
think
would
it was
surf.
both of her arms.
Okay,
She's like kind of blonde.
she was pretty.
Yeah,
She was like a pro surfer, I think. Didn't they make a movie about that?
I think so.
There's like a movie, like a Disney-esque type of. Damn.
Bethany
both
Hamilton, amputee surfer.
Oh, you ever see if you take a shark and put it nose down perfectly, like they go into a trance?
Yeah, I makes sense. They're not natural. That's not a natural position.
That, and I've seen this thing. If you take a chicken, like, and it's looking at the, like, you get it to follow your finger, and you draw a straight line away from it, the chicken will just go out for like 10 minutes.
Or say that again. If you do what to the chicken?
So, like, if I'll use the camera like it's the chicken. I use the camera like it's a chicken. So, like, you point at it, and, like, they're curious, they look around, and they look at your finger, and you get them to look down to the ground
So you basically scramble their brain a little
and
bit.
draw a line away from them. You scramble their brain.
No.
Yeah.
Who has time to figure these things out?
Farmers, dude. You ever try farming not high?
There are. Speaking of bestiality, there are people who bang chickens, and in my opinion, that's like the craziest.
Where they bang their egg hole?
I think their egg hole is their vagina, right?
No, because they're birds. So they poop.
Egg hole.
They poop and pee out of the same hole. That's why it looks like. That's why bird poop is like white and black.
Well, and if it's an egg, it's coming out of the uterus, so that would be vagina.
Yeah, well, that's right. Speaking of, have you seen that? There's like some publication or something is trying to like re-legislate the word vagina to be bonus hole because of the trans.
Bonus hole.
Have you heard this?
No.
Pull it up. Google.
Hold up. Well, and I've heard this word before. Cloaca. When the process is complete, the shell gland at the bottom end of the oviduct pushes the egg into the cloaca, a chamber just inside the vent. So yeah, it's an egg hole.
The vent. That's a nice word for vagina.
Lays eggs and poops out of this. Oh, it does poop out of the same hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see it?
That's
like,
why
you ever
shells
you ever
gross.
see an egg come out? Like, I've never seen it live, but I've seen videos of like an ostrich egg come out. Ugh.
Did you know that when eggs first come out, if you don't wash them, you don't have to refrigerate them?
Really?
Yeah, whatever's like on the egg
Cloaca juice.
keeps it
Well,
clean.
our Uncle Bill, they had eggs and they had chickens and they would just leave the eggs out on the counter.
Yeah, fresh eggs like that, you just have to not wash them. Then when you're ready to use it, you just wash it and you can use it.
Look up bonus hole.
You're gonna
I don't
get a
have-
lot of weird.
I don't
stuff.
have great spamware on this. Bonus hole. Coin pusher. I'll do instead of vagina. Or that's they're close enough.
You just clicked away from it.
I clicked the wrong thing.
The use of the term bonus hole instead of vagina is seen as an attempt to be more inclusive and respectful towards transgender and non-binary individuals. By using this terminology, health professionals are acknowledging that not everyone with a vagina identifies as a woman. So, yeah, I guess this is a proposed change in like medical literature to no longer use...
Next, I'm gonna go, and the doctor's gonna go, all right, pull your hang down out.
I just
Pull
think
your
about like
your extra body part.
I just think about like serious porn, and they're like, "Let me see your bonus hole."
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Oh, that wet bonus hole. Oh, your
Bonus hole to me is the butthole.
Me too. That's when I first heard it. I was like, "You mean the beehole?"
Dude, I think when I hate going down this rabbit hole, but did I tell you about the video of the guy? He does it like live of putting a tampon in for him the first time.
We talked about chest feeding. But listen, on this subject, I'm glad we went here real quick.
I'm just gonna call vaginas your cloaca. Show me that cloaca, girl.
It sounds kind of cool. It's like
sounds cooler than bonus hole.
Couldn't come up
like
with
that.
anything
Yeah,
else.
isn't that like that's like the jokiest. Like, how could a bunch of professional people in the medical field land on that? And everyone's like, all right, yeah, it's a good bonus hole.
This makes me think of like there's been dudes who've like gone in Congress and acted serious, but like it was like they're joking.
Chad
like,
and
that, but like they're trying to prove how ridiculous this is by going in being like, I now want to be referred to as Count Dogula or something, and like he's being serious and he's. You know, they're using it in a way of like he's doing it proper, but to show kind of like how ridiculous this is. Like I'm waiting for it to come out in 2 days that the congressman or whoever pulled this out was like, you guys really didn't get that was a joke. This is how bad we're down. You know how bad our society is right now. You guys thought I really meant bonus hole.
There's people who like, you know, they feel adamantly one way. Others, especially people that lean conservative. Feel really strongly the other way, and quite frankly, this is not the first time these kind of things have happened. When the gay movement really took hold, back around like the AIDS period of time, there were all these people coming out saying, you know, gays are groomers. People were, you know, they used to call it fag bashing. There's always this backlash, and it's the same thing all over again.
Yeah, but not so much gender, I think. They're like that, like the whole gay, you know, if it gay or whatnot. But the whole the gender thing is where I think
I'm just saying the same sentiments come out of the conservative side of America. You know, it's all. Unfortunately, the Bible has some pretty unfriendly things to say about the gays, and the conservative people can always fall back on. Don't get mad at me. The Bible says it. It's always there should be more of a middle ground on these things.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like everything in the. They just got to each dig their heels in deeper.
Yeah.
There's some conservative backlash about the Barbie movie because they didn't represent the Christian population.
Everybody knows Christian movies are the worst movies. Why would they do that?
Right.
Yeah. There's gonna be. It's too much. I'm tired of hearing about it. You would think that this is gonna bring our society down.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The one, I forget where I heard it. You know, there's so much media in my face all the time. But like a lot of, before like, what's the word? Successful civilizations, before like they came to an end, there was a lot of focus on like gender and this type of thing.
But is that just
like
people on the right wing beating a drum? Is that really what brought down the Greek civilization?
Well, no, not saying that that's what brought it down, but that was a precursor, kind of.
It's kind of like the idea of Sodom and Gomorrah, where like once a certain level of unregulated debaucherism and, you know, people just wilding out, you know, it does signal an excess in society where it's like if there's no rules and there's no... cultural like norms that everybody agrees on, it could signal like we could be at a tipping point.
Yeah.
Where people are like losing their reason, and I see a lot of that on both sides, man. I really do, but none of this is new. That's the crazy thing. If you really learn some history, none of it is new.
What about kind of on the the debauchery and stuff like how I think it's China, and I'm getting this wrong, but it's somewhere along the lines of like the government's trying to or might already have it started in place of every person kind of has their own IP so they can track what like porn and like they're getting like they're
This is a big topic. This is the Chinese Communist Party way of, it's called a social credit score, basically.
that the way I like found out about it, even which again I don't know much about it, but it was like the part that I guess stuck out to me was really to make sure they're getting rid of a lot of porn, like they can control their internet I guess over there,
Yeah.
and they're watching to see like making sure that they're not watching like weird porn and stuff.
Yeah, it's really pervasive. What's your thought on that? This is a good conversation, kind of, because there's a lot of progressive people in the world with a lot of power and money who are pushing the China model as something, the rest of the world should kind of, like, with COVID and stuff, it really became like, how they were tracking people who had tested positive and like they could see if you left your neighborhood and shit.
Yeah.
So, what's your feelings about internet freedom? I should say.
That's hard because there's always gonna be a way that it's gonna come out. Like whether black market, for instance, like the dark web. If you can get rid of that, people are still gonna find a way to do shady shit.
Are you talking like censorship or tracking what you're doing?
I'm talking more about government.
Like I can or cannot view something, or they know that I'm viewing this.
I
guess all of it in general.
No,
man.
but I'm more interested in who has access, who's even looking at all this stuff. I mean, like with the dark web, you're right. They can never fully get rid of that.
Well, I was just using that as an example because then, like, if you go, all right, porn. All right, like if you want, like, we don't want people looking at bestiality. Obviously, no CP.
I think that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, but no, I know, but there's gonna be a way. People are gonna find a way to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of in that sense. So like you shouldn't control that. I'm usually more for smaller government. The tracking of people is. I know it's happening. It's been happening for a long time. I think everywhere.
Okay, I mean.
Yeah, I don't mind so much of the tracking because, like, what are they gonna like? Unless they're stopping me from going places that I want to go.
Well, right now they might not want to do anything, but in the future, if they want to lock you down, they're going to be able to know.
Well, here's like what people talk about is the fear is, and this is kind of what the Chinese are already doing. Like, let's say, I have a lot of anti-establishment views. What if I became like a zealot and I was always posting stuff on Twitter that got me a big following and it was like, not approved speech. And then suddenly my credit score is going down or they lock my bank account or they, just like Trump being banned, like, from Twitter. So, once you cross a threshold.
Then you just use Trump's social.
True Social.
What is it? What's it called? Is that
True
it?
Social?
True
Yeah.
Social.
It's just,
Rachel, make sure you're putting our podcast up on True Social. Maybe that's our type of people.
What's going on with Threads?
I don't even know what that is. Threads was very momentous at first. Now we're
I'm saying in general, apparently it's like petered out a little.
Yeah, it's still good. People were like just really, really, really excited at first, I think. So there was like a lot of stuff on there. But I've been kind of switching back between throughout the day to Twitter and Threads.
But are you using it for your own personal use, Threads?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like Instagram, basically, right?
It's Twitter. It's like
Okay.
Twitter,
Instagram's
but
like built into
Instagram
it.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you can like click from someone's Instagram profile to their threads
thread.
Yeah.
and back and forth.
So Facebook is it's been meta now for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just funny how like now it's a big Twitter versus Threads thing. I think Elon Musk already filed a lawsuit.
yeah, he did he tried to file like a
But he
cease and assist.
remember
Are they actually going to fight?
like fist to fight?
Fox, I think.
There's no date set, but it was something that I think you know.
I'd pay.
Elon Musk, I don't know how much you have seen of Elon Musk do interviews and stuff, because he is an interesting guy, and he's a badass.
Yeah, he scared
Tesla-
the fuck out of
But
me.
he's weird. He does say, and he's got the weirdest laugh, dude. Yeah, but I don't think he's actually going to fight Zuckerberg. But the lawsuit basically...
No, it wasn't Zucker. It was Elon Musk first.
Zuckerberg.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. But remember when Elon bought Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically cut like more than half of the staff?
I think it was like 70%.
It was a big number, which whatever. Zuckerberg hired a bunch of those people, and basically his claim in court is that like they basically just built a copy of what they had already built at Twitter.
Yeah, he stole my playbook basically.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you could really. That's not an uncommon thing for competitors to basically copy other people, and you know.
Yeah, it happens on everything.
I would be pissed though. I would be pissed if I was.
But how
Elon.
much money do you need?
Well,
I think it's not the money. Pride or
yeah,
but-
it's definitely pride. But if you remember when he bought Twitter, like he tried to back out of the deal, and deals like that, where I think he bought it for like $44 billion. Like when deals like that, the government gets involved because of antitrust stuff, and basically he was forced to buy it at a number he had offered that he wanted to back out of. So he's losing money on Twitter. So now Zuckerberg comes out with Threads. I could see how he's pissed. And you could sue for... I mean, look, this chick is suing for a prenup because $132,000.
Is it Elon Musk? Who's the other one? This Elon Musk and who's the bald one?
Bezos.
Bezos.
Oh.
Is it Bezos' wife? When they got divorced, became the richest or second
Yeah.
richest woman in the world just from the divorce.
That's
That's
a perfect example of why prenups are a thing. He should have signed a prenup.
Now with that, I'm pretty sure like he wasn't successful when they got married yet, though.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Bezos?
I don't know.
Well,
I thought.
how could she have become the richest? Like,
No. Before they got married, I don't know. If he,
I
like,
don't know.
why would me and Rachel get a prenup?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even if we got married right now, but like if I got all famous and had all this money, and I was like, dude, I want a 20-year-old girlfriend now, and
Yeah. Listen,
I get me a guma, and you just have to deal with it, Rachel.
just imagine a scenario, both of you, where you built some really influential big business after you got married, and when relationships go south, there's a lot of times there's animosity. Now imagine your ex-spouse who's like sleeping with your buddy or whatever. It's not an amicable split. Now you are court ordered to give her half of everything you've ever earned, and then you always look at like all these spouses who murder.
I was gonna say, when that happened, I wonder if like the CIA was like, we have to have a task force to watch Bezos to make sure he doesn't try and blow up the world.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like
he's
we're
gonna
gonna
lose
put
his
him
shit.
on not suicide watch, on end the world watch.
Yeah, but like he's already a billionaire, so
Yeah.
he can afford it. But like a normal guy, who like
Oh,
his
dude.
business just got off the ground, and now he's got to pay child support and half of everything he's built to a woman who he now hates. And
You know
women are harsh, bro. When things go south, like they don't give a shit.
You know what though? Like, just thinking through it now, I don't give a shit, Kevin Costner, because he's still gonna have money. There are dudes out there that gave their high school sweetheart everything they wanted, had 3 kids,
And still
then
got
she
screwed.
got bored,
Mhm.
and now he's living in an apartment, fighting to see his kids, and she doesn't want to get a job because it would make her get less.
That she's used to a lifestyle.
Yeah, but like, and he's eating fucking Hungry Man's.
There is a small kind of movement for apparently family court and like divorce court is like really harsh for men.
Yeah, I know certain states specifically are really trying to
just balance things out a little bit. 'Cause
it's not just always.
Listen, if you were making $40,000 a year and you're paying alimony, like some of these you're left with, $600 every 2 weeks, maybe. You know what I mean? And I can see how people end up going to jail.
Yeah.
They're just like, you know what? I'm done with this recovery bullshit. My wife and my kids still hold it against me. I'm giving them more than half of my income. Send me to jail. What am I working for?
Well, the thing is, it still stacks up when you're in jail.
Yeah, I know. But
and I know there was because like it used to be like you'd have to go somewhere. Like, I think you have to go to the courthouse to like give them the check. Now they have like an ATM machine to do it, and like some of them got fucked up and like really fucked some dudes over. Like, they're struggling a piece, and they finally get that payment in, and the child support machine fucked up or something got messed up.
Just imagine going to 7-Eleven and it's like an ATM.
It is. They're
right
like
next
that.
to the coin store. There's a child support machine.
Yeah.
Google that.
Not in
There's
like
no way.
7-Eleven. Yeah.
Child support teller machine. I don't even know what you'd call it.
Teller.
Making payment to the Pennsylvania Child Support Enforcement Agency, Easy Touch Pay. This is an app. So yeah, why would you even have a machine now? You just do an app.
I know, yeah,
but it's hooked into the court system.
Yeah, there was machines though at one point. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I want to just make that up.
But yeah, so I do think that there is like there should be more sway for the mother, because you don't need to have a college degree to know that like moms are really important. Dads are really important too, but you do need a mom. But listen, in the society we live in, a woman can cut. If she catches you cheating on her or something, she can make your life a living hell. And if the courts don't, it could go both ways.
How does that work? Do you have to like prove that they cheated? Like, do you have to have like hardcore evidence?
I don't know.
Or can you just claim he cheated on me?
No,
I smelled perfume.
No, I don't think you could just claim it.
But like,
but the court does lean towards the woman, so maybe.
So if a girl just goes, I want a divorce, no reason at all, is like,
you still have to split finances, yeah. Differences. I can't think of the word right now.
That's lame.
Unrequited. It's like requited.
I feel like there's some telepathy going on, and nobody can think of this word that we've all heard a million times.
I don't know the word.
Anywho.
Unrequited. That's what my brain's saying.
See, that's lame. If there's a reason, but if it can't just be like, I'm bored and I don't want to work. Divorce.
Well, it goes.
Work is at will. Marriage should be at will, right?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, if you get fired for a reason, they don't have to pay unemployment. A lot of times they end up winning anyway.
This never really comes into play, but once there's children involved, that's when the courts really are like, as the man, you're kind of beat. There's people who literally like their alimony, what they're left with, and child support should be paid.
Yeah,
but the courts don't really care what happens to the dad. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. I learned in like just the last couple years from someone that like I've met now, I think at least 2, maybe 3 people that I always wondered why, like older than me. They're like, I don't use bank accounts. I don't use a bank account.
For reasons like that, so they can't see how much money. Because what can happen too is like
you can go to jail.
Well, yeah, but let's say like you get a raise at your job. If your ex-wife finds out,
Yeah.
she's taking you to court to get more.
Well, and if they're taking it out of your pay, like my brother used to get taken out, and they won't empty you, but they'll
Leave
they'll
you a
leave you
cent.
like
They don't care.
1 cent.
Yeah, your standard of living no longer matters.
Mm-hmm.
Irreconcilable differences.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say that.
I think you were.
course you
I felt like it was on the tip of your tongue. I wanted to. We were talking about China a little bit, and I want to know your guys' opinion on this because I'm torn on this. Have you heard of the 15-minute cities?
No.
Basically, it's a vision for the future because of climate change and energy, problems, trying to get off fossil fuels. Where basically they exist in like certain European cities. They're like test cases in like Scotland, but basically it's a city where everything is kind of the infrastructure is within 15 minutes of you. Doctors, any store you could possibly need. You won't have a car, but there'll be like a fleet of cars for the community. Basically, there's nothing you could possibly need outside of that 15 minutes.
There's something. Well, I don't know if it's not similar, but I know I learned in college there was these things called golden foot. What was that? It's golden something, and it was the standard of like walkability and logistical of the city, like kind of similar.
Well, yeah, there's people who get master's degrees in how to plan out cities.
But yeah, and it's in America, and it's like what like they do like the rating of like top 50 cities in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think one of them is this. It's Golden Foot. It's Golden something, but it's like the rating of like how walkable are you to be like get to like grocery stores or to the bus and things like that. But with this 15-minute city thing, I watched this video, dude, and I think it probably came out around when we were watching The Last of Us. These scientists were using mold. Mold to basically they planned the most efficient subway system because mold will take the best route or whatever, and they did it and used it, and
I saw that.
Yeah, it was for the subway system that they figured out, like, whatever this type of mold or whatever it is better than human beings could ever engineer to create, like, an elaborate...
Nature has a way of being efficient, so that really makes sense. But the controversy over this 15-minute city thing is the idea is you won't have your own car.
Yeah, no, I won't get down with that.
That's, like,
I think
sustainable, though. Like, if I lived somewhere that I could walk places, I would be so excited.
I agree with her, and this is a big controversy, especially for Americans.
1,000 times, yes, it makes sense, but
no, it doesn't make sense. It's necessary, and this is where people can't get over their own fucking idea. There is a point where like you gotta sacrifice some things to get to a higher elevation as a human species,
or just for us not to die off.
What exactly?
I get it, but I'm one of those selfish Americans. I'll admit it. I really also
we cut down to one car. I mean,
we did our part.
Oh my God, you're an ass.
I would love to be able to literally walk to the grocery store, walk to the doctor.
Do you really mean that though? Because we'll go to New York.
Well, New York is an old city. Like I'm not interested. You're right, and that's a good counterpoint. I'm not interested in living in some urban hellhole. Mm-hmm. This is more of a vision for future planning, not for like. I get what you're saying. I try to be idealistic about this and say like I would be willing to make sacrifices.
Let me ask you this though, like, do you think that it's possible? Because what my mind immediately goes to is like, here comes a way for them to make a class system, because you sure as hell ain't gonna have Jeff Bezos living with kids from the projects.
Okay, well,
If he's
I'm
pushing
just saying,
the
you're
cause
not-
and wants to be famous for it, he will.
I'm using examples. You guys don't understand using examples. Okay, a rich person is going
no,
to
no,
fight.
I was gonna say you're absolutely right.
Okay.
But these people who have this kind of wealth, you know, if they put the resources into building these livable green cities, first and foremost, they would be heroes of the species.
Yeah, but they're.
But yeah, he wouldn't live there, and that's fine. But my thing is like, bro, if
No, I'm saying it's gonna only make it. There's no gonna, or the middle class is already disappearing.
well, I was gonna say there's already a caste system.
So it's going to be like we would get stuck in the poverty section.
Right, but
So
we
then-
already are compared to these guys.
Yeah, compared to them, but like.
This is an interesting conversation because it forces you to ask a lot of questions. Like, do we all have to accept assimilation to a more regulated standard of living to save the planet?
Yes.
Would we all have to eat some shit? But like, dude, I've said a million times, send me to the Matrix if it's good, and I'm fine with that.
Here's the thing though, like that is gonna help, but we all know that like normal people aren't the problem. It's these huge, gigantic companies. They're not gonna stop.
But they're already there, and they're not going to go away. Listen, that's a whole separate.
So then it's like, all right, they're not going to go away. So then all of other people who don't benefit off of those have to now live in this ant farm.
Your point is well taken, and I agree with you on that sentiment. But let's be honest, like you said, the middle class is gone already. We're already living in a situation. 3 people have as much as 50% of the rest of the country. 3 people. Okay, so that's a whole different.
Yeah,
subject.
but I look at it not like that, but
how about this?
I will scratch and claw so I don't have to live in Section 8 housing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and those people, we know people that they work the system to
Yeah, I don't want to
do
go
that.
Down, I don't
But
wanna
that's
go
what I'm
down
saying, that we
road.
would just get lumped in, and so like our grocery, like you're not going to be able to get rid of the crime.
No, the vision I'm talking about is it's a pretty. This isn't just throwing everybody in these new project buildings. Like there is more to
like
it.
a city, like
a micro city. Like if you told me I didn't have to travel outside of this big building where I had my own apartment and everything was there, and if I wanted to go on a trip, I could go on a trip. You know, just had to put in my a 2-week advance.
See, I know
would do it.
you would hate that. You don't like working for the man, let alone you're going to let them now your work and out of work is going to. I gotta guys, I really would like to go to Mexico. Nah, declined. We got too many people leaving that week.
Touche.
I think idealistically, yes, it's something that is needed, and it's all an awesome idea if you could pull it off. But also, what are they going to do? Just knock down New York and be like, now, or are they just going to build one of these mini cities out in the middle of Utah where there's no like?
Well, I don't know, but they're already have built some of these.
I'll tell you what I've seen that it's kind of like this, and it's kind of like the thing is like, and I think it was like a young kid that designed it, and this company is making, but it's what's not terraforming. You know, where they started farming, where they stacked on top, like
upwards, yeah.
Basically building cities like that.
I've seen all kinds of cool ideas for how to build like these communities.
Yeah, so your footprint is smaller.
But this would, the idea I have of what this would be like, there would be a lot of loss of privacy. Because you're right, you can't get rid of crime unless you really are watching everybody all the time.
And also, you know,
what
like
I mean?
it's like the internet's going to have to come in. You know, internet and cable's going to have to come into this city one way. So everything you do is going to be watched at that point.
Everything you do is already watched.
A lot of it.
I don't really care that much about privacy because I don't really do anything.
either.
But
See, that's the dangerous attitude. Because you're right. Like, realistically, I don't have nothing to hide.
I guess what I'm saying with the internet, but I like my freedoms. Like, if I fucking wanted to just get up right now and go to Erie, I want that. I don't want to have to be like, hey, when can I get the car?
No, I get it. But these are interesting
But
conversations
that's
to have.
also why they have like ride shares and Ubers and things like that, so you can call a
Right.
ride for
It would-
wherever you're trying to go.
The idea is actually nobody would have a car. So that is like, especially
you
for
learn how to
Americans.
like, use public transit.
Right. And you're right, though. It would require like a prototype built in the middle of Utah or something. Because if you try to take the current infrastructure and just slap a sticker on it, so to speak.
And yeah, what happens with like, even in a city is, I mean, if one road goes down, these 15, let's say that a sewage pipe burst, everyone's fucked.
But
Yeah.
what's the difference between like our neighborhood if that happens?
I know what you're saying.
Because it's our neighborhood, not a million people.
Well, 1 million people is a huge number. One of the ideas I like about the 15-minute city idea that we're talking about is I like the idea of reintegrating people into a community. And that I feel like is such an important thing for the human race that we've lost in society. I feel like this would really be healing. It's good for people to know all their neighbors, have to rely on them. Like in my vision of this, there would be like weekly board meetings, not 1 million people. I'm talking, kind of like a little ant farm, if you will.
For it to make sense, though, like, it would have to be a lot of people. Like, maybe not 1 million, but, like, think how much it would, like, just to create living space to...
I think you underestimate 1 million people is a lot of people.
I'm saying less than that. I'm saying, but think how many people it would take to support, like, economically, to have, like, housing, grocery stores, appliance, things like that. Like, 50,000 people aren't enough to support that.
Well, these conversations require like, what's the industrial out? Like, what are you producing in the city? These kind of conversations really come down to like, all right, what form of capitalism are we running on? Because if it's what we have now, these things, don't work. Unless it's like a commune where we are like, Amish, and we're like building,
The only cool aspect I'm thinking of this, just looking at this picture, this school, professional sports would go away.
No, you would just have
why?
teams within the community.
Yeah, and your team, I mean trading through communities? No, I think it would
Wouldn't
be...
it still be just like the
be
same?
the
Like
same
that
thing.
city has a team.
Except for maybe
The
you'd have
city
a
has
chance
a
to be on the
team.
team.
But what I'm saying is you're saying 1 million people.
No, you're saying 1 million. I'm saying
I'm saying 1 million people is too much. 1 million people isn't enough to... I don't know. In my mind, it just could never work.
I know, but we're having a conversation.
and
That's
that's
interesting stuff.
I was going to say that their professional sports are going to go away, and it's going to be like the high school team is going to, like...
Yeah, and that's cool. Your buddy will be the star quarterback.
I don't want that.
What's wrong? You don't want that?
No, I want... Because then there's going to be 1,000 teams.
He wants to watch giant, muscular men that he doesn't
Listen,
know.
I love the Eagles too, but you don't like the idea of having a community squad?
See, then...
I really, on this one, I don't think you have a hill to stand on. That sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. I want to be on the baseball team.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think it would be there would be one sport you could support.
No, see, you're black. You're black and white with this thing, and it's why would it be? You're making it futuristic hellhole. It's not futuristic.
Because if you're saying 1 million people is too much for one of these 15-minute cities, there's not enough people to be able to support all of this.
I think city might be the wrong word.
Well, it says here 15-minute city, but enough to have plumbers, electricians, all that type of stuff, grocery stores and things like that right there. Like 1 million people, I think you're underestimating. It's not as many people as you think it is.
Also, like, it's not just going to be this, I assume, this city all by itself where you can never get resources from outside of the city.
No, I'm thinking in my mind, it's more of a contained community. Like literally think of like a skyscraper where one floor is shops. The school is in the building. Or maybe,
Mall of America.
sure, why not?
I mean, it basically has everything.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is like the emphasis on like we don't all have. If you were just more integrated into this community, I think that'd be really good for humanity to try to work back to something more. Instead of a global community, we can be a global community, but like it'd be nice to have a local community. I guess is what I'm saying. And this is one way.
If it's optional. Yeah, but I don't ever want to be forced into something like that. I don't want to go.
Well, I don't want to be forced either. But for the people who don't want to be part of it, we'll just throw you in prison because that's what these kind of societies are going to require. Like
exactly,
you're a thought outlaw.
Yeah,
you're trying to take humanity, off the planet if that's how you think. I'm saying that's how we would. Like, you're right. There would be mechanisms of control and, like, thought crime and shit.
This would become a movie plot, and it would be the bandits versus big government. And, like, because, I didn't want to get thrown into the poor one. Unless it's a lottery system. But even then, rich person gets put in the poor one. He's going to pay his way out to get put in the one that's got the baller mall in it.
Absolutely, you're totally right. But
and then next generation. All right, let's get everyone wears the same clothes. And the next generation, you have to ask us to have permission to date or have children. That's the step. I think that's a step.
You're right. But
would it save?
It does beg the question of
because if just America
is that potentially necessary to preserve the species.
All I know is let Finland and stuff try it, because if America tries it, we're just going to get butt raped by the big...
Well, Finland's already doing a bunch of shit better.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
they have 17 people there, so...
I will say this. The current system we're living under requires mavericks and venture capitalists and... basically super powerful people that can invest money in other people's business. Like, this system would require a rethinking of an economy.
Of a world,
less resource usage.
The thing is, though, of the world.
Yeah.
Because even if America did this yesterday perfect...
China would then destroy us or something eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Before we do... And it's good conversation, but before we do this, how about we stop China and India from just literally toxic shocking their...
But also, just because... other people aren't like trying to be sustainable, that doesn't mean that
I'm not. See, you're equating it that I'm not trying to be sustainable. I'm equating it that I don't want to be. This is a prison to me. It's a prison that I get more walking around room.
I know, but you said too about like the jets, like, oh, well, why should we do this? Because the big guys have like their stuff, but you gotta try.
Right, and don't you see some of the good things about it?
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. I would love to have my own space, but also know the people who live around. Becky works at the deli counter.
And you can get whatever you need. You need something. It's
right.
like just a couple minutes away.
You wouldn't be able to smoke in your place.
How do you know?
Why?
And I just
okay. And if I have to,
there's probably a smoking area.
Yeah, or whatever. I get what you're saying, but that's
I'm just saying, like, you take this neighborhood, just street, and shrink it down, do it on a small scale. There's going to be fights, and there's people that I'm going to immediately be like, that motherfucker.
No
looks
one's
at me
saying
again.
there's going to be a utopia. You're right. Humans are still going to be human.
And I think that there's a difference. Like,
you want Dad living in this community?
I don't even.
I think there'd be senior places for.
Like, I don't even need the tight community. I just want to be able to walk to anything I need. Like, just that.
It would be cool.
Then move to a city.
Okay, but you won't move to a 15-minute city, so.
There are.
I guess we need a prenup.
I said go to New York if you want to be able to walk and get everything.
New York is a terrible example.
All right, good.
New York sucks, dude. If you're not.
Baltimore is a pretty walkable area.
Yeah, you want to live in Baltimore?
There's parts of Baltimore that are terrible, but yeah, it's really.
I'm just saying I'm playing devil's advocate because we can't just all be like, this is awesome, let's do it. But you both said it would be awesome just to be able to walk and get whatever you want. All right, there's places that have that.
All right, let's
go to Bangladesh.
Well, you won't go anywhere.
I
so
won't go anywhere.
See, then what am I supposed to do?
I'll be here with my vehicle, and I'm 15 minutes from anything I could possibly want, but I just use a car to do it. And that little bit of emissions that my vehicle gives out is an ant's fart compared to what big corporations are doing to the planet.
Right.
That's my argument.
That's what I'm saying is.
That's accurate. You're right.
Yeah, the big corps are doing it, but everybody
Here's what
still do stuff.
definitely
We're doing stuff.
But listen, human progress is slow. But I think these big ideas and big sessions they need to be had. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna get a Brazilian butt lift, dude. Not having an ass in my life is really, in the last couple of days, really been catching up to me.
Yeah. Well,
I sit directly on my
You have
taint.
to start squatting more. We talked about that in the beginning of the podcast.
I either sit directly on my taint or my tailbone.
Yeah,
There's no in between.
I'm on my taint as we speak.
Yeah, and like sitting here, I'm like, I think I might have done some damage, but I'll be all right because I think without 15-minute cities, we will be all right. You be all right.
We'll be all right.
This has been You Be Aight podcast, presented by AML Media. I am Gene Labordi, my brother Stephen Labordi. We're going to try and make sure we keep on schedule. I'm doing everything I can for my health. We'll keep you updated on that once I get the tubes in both ends. Rachel doing all the fun, hard work for us. Thank you very much. And I got to go ice my butthole /taint, I think. Thanks, everybody.